The 1977 dime was minted at the Denver Mint, and while it is a common coin in general circulation, certain high-grade examples and rare era varieties make it an appealing piece for collectors seeking valuable specimens. The obverse of the Roosevelt dime features a portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, designed by John R. Sinek, with inscriptions, "Liberty, in God, we trust," the year 1977, and the D mint mark, signifying it was struck at the Denver Mint. This iconic design has remained largely unchanged since the coin's initial release. The reverse of the dime features an olive branch, a torch, and an oak branch, symbolizing peace, liberty, and strength, along with the inscriptions United States of America, EPOUIPOU, Unity under Dime. These symbols reflect core American values, reinforcing the importance of Roosevelt's leadership in shaping the nation. The U.S. Mint struck a total of 3,888,7,979 Roosevelt dimes at the Denver Mint in 1977. Due to its large mintage, circulated examples are common and readily available, often found in everyday transactions. However, well-preserved, uncirculated coins in high grades can carry a premium, particularly those that have been carefully stored or obtained directly from mint sets. For collectors looking to invest in the best examples, focusing on coins with strong strikes and minimal surface marks is essential. When discussing the value of the 1977 dime Roosevelt dime, it is important to break it down by condition. Circulated examples, which exhibit varying degrees of wear, are generally worth face value, around 10 cents. These dimes are frequently encountered in pocket change, and while they hold historical significance, they do not command significant premiums. Uncirculated examples in mint state, MS-63 to MS-66, can range from $1 to $5, with higher quality examples commanding higher prices. High-grade specimens, graded MS-67 and above, are considerably rarer and can sell for $50 to $200, depending on demand and overall eye appeal. In the rarest cases, a perfect MS-68 Roosevelt dime has been known to sell for over $1,000 at auction, due to its exceptional quality and scarcity. Some rare errors on the 1977 D Roosevelt dime can significantly increase its value, making certain specimens highly sought after by collectors and numismatists. One of the most notable errors is the double die, obverse or reverse variety, where design elements, such as the lettering or Roosevelt's profile, appear doubled. These errors occur during the minting process, when the coin die strikes the planchette multiple times in slightly misaligned positions. Double die errors can fetch anywhere from $50 to several $100, depending on the severity and visibility of the doubling. Another valuable error variety is the off-center strike. Off-center dimes occur when the planchette is not properly aligned in the striking chamber, resulting in a misaligned design. The value of an off-center dime depends on the degree of misalignment. Minor off-center strikes may be worth $20 to $50, while extreme off-center errors, where part of the design is missing, can range from $100 to $500. These errors are relatively uncommon, but are highly desirable among error coin collectors. A clipped planchette dime is another error variety found in 1977 dimes D Roosevelt dimes. This error occurs when the blank planchette is incorrectly cut from the metal sheet, resulting in a coin with a missing section or curved edge. Clipped planchette errors can vary in size and shape, with some being minor and others more dramatic. Depending on the severity of the clipping and overall condition, these dimes may be worth anywhere from $50 to $200. One of the rarest errors for a Denver minted coin is the missing mint mark variety. While mint mark errors are more commonly associated with proof coins, any $1977 D dime found without its D mint mark could be an incredibly rare find. Missing mint mark errors significantly increase a coin's value, often making it worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Collectors should carefully inspect their dimes to see if any exhibit this unique error. Beyond errors, other factors that influence a 1977 D Roosevelt dime's value include toning, strike quality, and eye appeal. Toning occurs when a coin's surface develops a patina due to exposure to air and environmental elements. Some collectors prefer naturally toned coins with attractive color variations, which can add a premium to a dime's value. Similarly, well-struck dimes with sharp details and strong luster will command higher prices compared to weaker strikes or coins with noticeable blemishes. For those interested in collecting Roosevelt dimes, assembling a complete set by year and mint mark can be an exciting challenge. The 1977 D dime, while not the rarest in the series, plays an essential role in completing a full collection. Collectors seeking investment-grade dimes should prioritize coins graded MS-67 or higher. as these tend to appreciate in value over time. Additionally, searching for error coins through bankrolls, coin shops, and online auctions can be an enjoyable way to enhance a collection with unique and valuable pieces. Next up, the Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946. It was designed by artist John R. Sinnock, and its purpose was to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his passing. The design was chosen not only to remember his legacy, but also because of his role in founding the March of Dimes, an organization dedicated to fighting polio. Since then, the Roosevelt dime has been a staple of American currency, and the design has remained mostly unchanged, making it instantly recognizable. But today, we're focusing specifically on the 2002 D. Roosevelt dime, which was minted in Denver that year. Now, let's talk about the design. On the obverse, or front, of the coin, we see President Franklin D. Roosevelt's profile, facing left, as was the standard for the Roosevelt dime. Below his portrait, you'll find the inscriptions, "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." To the right of Roosevelt, there's the date, 2002, and a small D mint mark indicating that this coin was struck in the Denver Mint. The reverse side features a torch, flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch. The torch symbolizes liberty, while the olive and oak branches represent peace and strength. Above these images, you'll see the words, "United States of America," and "E Pluribus Unis," and below the torch, the coin's face value, 1 dime. Now, when it comes to the value of the 2002 D. Roosevelt dime, it's worth mentioning that in most cases, this coin is worth its face value of just 10 cents. However, there are certain circumstances where its value can increase. For example, if you have a 2002 D. Roosevelt dime in uncirculated condition, meaning it has been well preserved and hasn't been handled much, you might find that it can be worth anywhere from $1 to $3 depending on its quality. The higher the grade, the more it could be worth. For coins graded MS65 or higher, you could see values ranging from $3 to $5, but this all depends on the overall condition and demand among collectors. Of course, the value can also be influenced by the rarity of the coin. While the 2002 D. Roosevelt dime isn't considered rare in terms of its overall mintage, some collectors look for coins in higher grades, or they might be on the lookout for coins with unique characteristics like die cracks or doubling. These small errors can sometimes make a coin more valuable, so it's always a good idea to examine your coins carefully. But, as of now, there are no major error types that are widely associated with the 2002 dime. Still, it's always worth checking your coin for any signs of wear, damage, or potential errors. If you're trying to determine if your 2002 D dime could be worth more than face value, it's important to inspect its condition closely. Start by looking at both sides of the coin to check for scratches, wear, or discoloration. If the coin looks particularly clean with sharp details and no visible marks, it could be a higher grade coin. Using a magnifying glass can help you get a better look at the finer details, like the mint mark or any signs of doubling on the design elements. If you're unsure about the grade or potential value, you can always take it to a local coin dealer or submit it to a professional grading service for a more accurate assessment. At the end of the day, the 2002 D. Roosevelt dime may not be one of the most highly sought-after coins, but it is an important piece of history. It's a reminder of President Roosevelt's legacy and the work of the March of Dimes, and it's still a valuable coin in terms of its historical significance. If you're building your collection, don't overlook the 2002 D. Roosevelt dime. It's a great addition, and you never know, you might find one in excellent condition that could be worth more than you think. The Roosevelt dime, which was first introduced in 1946, was designed by artist John R. Sinnock to honor the legacy of President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his death in 1945. Roosevelt was a pivotal figure in American history, known for leading the nation through the Great Depression and World War II. His image on the dime serves as a tribute to his leadership, and the coin was also designed to support the March of Dimes, a charity founded by Roosevelt to combat polio. Since its introduction, the design of the Roosevelt dime has remained mostly unchanged, with just a few minor tweaks over the years. Now, the 1981 dime Roosevelt dime was minted in Philadelphia, as indicated by the P mint mark. It's part of a long-running series of Roosevelt dimes that were produced in large quantities. In fact, 1981 was a year when dimes were being produced in fairly large numbers to meet the demand for coin circulation across the United States. However, this year saw the introduction of some changes that collectors might find interesting, particularly in the context of coin production during the early 1980s. When it comes to design, the 1981 P Roosevelt dime features the same classic elements that have come to be associated with this coin. On the obverse front of the coin, you will see a profile of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, facing left. Below Roosevelt's portrait there are the words Liberty and In God We Trust, with the date 1981 directly to the right of his face. The mint mark in this case is P for the Philadelphia Mint, and you'll find it next to the date. The reverse back of the coin displays a torch, flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. The inscriptions on the reverse include United States of America and E pluribus unum, and at the bottom you'll find the coin's face value of 1 dime. The 1981 Roosevelt dime is made from a copper-nickel clad composition, which means it contains a copper core with layers of nickel on both sides. The weight of the coin is 2.27 grams, and its diameter is 17.91 millimeters. These specifications are consistent across the Roosevelt dime series and have remained the same since the coin's introduction. As for the value of the 1981p Roosevelt dime, like many other modern dimes, its value typically starts at face value, just 10 cents, when the coin is in circulated condition. However, if you come across a 1981p Roosevelt dime in uncirculated or mint state condition, you might find that it's worth more. Coins in mint state, which means they haven't been used for circulation and are free from scratches or significant wear, can generally be worth anywhere from $1 to $3, depending on the grade and quality. To give you a sense of how grades work, a coin graded MS 60, mint state 60, would be in fairly good condition with only minor imperfections, while coins that are graded MS 65 or higher, meaning they have sharp details and are virtually free from marks or blemishes, can fetch higher prices. In some cases, a 1981p Roosevelt dime in a higher grade could be worth up to $5 or more, though it's important to note that the 1981p is not one of the rarest or most sought out of dimes in terms of mintage. It's also important to keep in mind that while the 1981p Roosevelt dime is not particularly rare, it can still be an interesting coin to collect due to its historical significance. Roosevelt dimes are often collected by those interested in presidential coins, U.S. coin history, or the series itself, which has been a part of American currency for decades. Additionally, because the mintages for many Roosevelt dimes from the 1980 SSS were relatively high, they can often be found in decent condition, making them accessible for collectors. While the 1981 dime Roosevelt dime doesn't have any major known errors or varieties that would drastically increase its value, it's always worth checking your coins for any signs of die cracks, doubling, or other minting anomalies. These small errors can occasionally lead to higher values, though errors for this specific year are relatively rare. However, you may find that certain coins from the 1981 mintage have slight variations in strike or details, and that can make them of interest to certain collectors. If you're looking to determine if your 1981p Roosevelt dime is worth more than its face value, a good first step is to carefully examine its condition. Look for any signs of heavy wear, such as smoothing of the details or discoloration, which can lower its value. If your coin looks well preserved, consider getting it professionally graded by a service like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. This will give you a more accurate idea of its condition and potential market value. Next up, the Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946, just after the passing of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Designed by artist John R. Sinek, the coin was meant to honor Roosevelt's legacy, particularly his role in leading the nation through the Great Depression and World War II. Roosevelt was also instrumental in founding the March of Dimes, an organization dedicated to fighting polio, which gives the coin a special place in American history. Since its introduction, the Roosevelt dime has remained relatively unchanged, with only a few minor adjustments over the years. Now let's zoom in on the 2002 D Roosevelt dime, which was minted in Denver, as indicated by the D mint mark. The 2002 D is part of the long-running series that is known for its consistent design and large mintage numbers. In 2002, the U.S. Mint produced millions of dimes to keep up with the demand for coins in circulation. However, even though the coin was produced in such large quantities, there are still interesting aspects to look at when it comes to its value, condition, and appeal to collectors. As for the design of the 2002 D Roosevelt dime, it follows the standard look of all Roosevelt dimes. On the obverse front of the coin, you'll find the profile of President Franklin D. Roosevelt facing left. Below his portrait, you'll see the word Liberty, along with In God We Trust. To the right of Roosevelt, you'll find the date 2002 and the mint mark D, which stands for the Denver Mint, where this coin was struck. On the reverse side of the coin, we see a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, which represent liberty, peace, and strength. You'll also find the inscriptions United States of America and E pluribus unum, along with the coin's face value, 1 dime. The 2002 D. Roosevelt dime is made from a copper-nickel-clad composition, which has been the standard for US dimes since 1965. It weighs 2.27 grams and has a diameter of 17.91 millimeters. These specifications are standard across most Roosevelt dimes, which are widely recognized for their durability and long-lasting use in daily transactions. When it comes to the value of the 2002 D. Roosevelt dime, in most cases, this coin is worth its face value of just 10 cents. Dimes like the 2002 D are produced in such large quantities each year that they tend to stay close to face value unless they are in exceptional condition. However, if you come across a 2002 D. Roosevelt dime in uncirculated condition, meaning it hasn't been in circulation or heavily handled, it could be worth more. Coins in uncirculated or mint state can typically range in value from $1 to $3, depending on their condition and overall quality. If you happen to find a coin that has been graded as MS65 or higher, meaning it's in excellent, near-perfect condition, its value could increase to $5 or more. The key here is the quality and condition of the coin. A high-quality 2002 D. Roosevelt dime with sharp details, no visible marks, and are well desirable for collectors, and therefore more valuable. However, while the 2002 Roosevelt dime isn't particularly rare in terms of mintage, there are still certain collectors who seek out coins from specific years, including the 2002 D, to complete their collections, or to find coins in exceptional condition. The overall mintage of the 2002 D was over 1.1 billion dimes, so the coin is relatively common in circulated condition. But it can still be a valuable addition to your collection if you find one in near mint or mint condition. As with any coin, collectors will also look for possible errors or varieties, although the 2002 D. Roosevelt dime doesn't have any major known errors associated with it. Still, you should check your coin for small die cracks, doubling, or other unique characteristics that could make the coin more interesting or valuable. While these types of errors are relatively rare for the 2002 D dime, they can sometimes be found on other coins from the era. So how can you determine if your 2002 D. Roosevelt dime is worth more than face value? The first thing you'll want to do is examine the coin carefully. Look for any signs of wear, such as flattened details or discoloration. If the coin is in excellent condition with crisp edges and a shiny appearance, it's more likely to be worth more than just 10 cents. Use a magnifying glass to inspect the mint mark and other fine details. If the coin looks especially sharp and well preserved, it could be worth grading. If you're still unsure about the value of your coin, you can always take it to a professional coin dealer or submit it for grading through a reputable service like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. These grading services will assess the coin's condition and give you a better understanding of its market value. In conclusion, the 2002 Dime Rosa dime, while not one of the rarest or most valuable coins in the series, still holds significance due to its historical context and design. Whether you're collecting for its place in US history or as part of your dime collection, it's a coin worth considering. With a high mintage and fairly common availability, it's an easy coin to find, but if you come across one in mint state condition, it might just be a hidden gem. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, following his passing in 1945. This design, created by John R. Sinek, has been in circulation ever since. The 1996p dime was minted in Philadelphia, one of the 3 U.S. mint facilities producing dimes that year. It was a significant year because the U.S. Mint also released a special 1996W dime to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the series. Let's take a closer look at the design. On the obverse, you'll find Roosevelt's portrait, the word liberty, the motto, "In God We Trust," and the date, 1996. Just below the date is the P Mint mark, indicating it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. On the reverse, we have the torch, oak branch, and olive branch, symbolizing liberty, strength, and peace. The inscriptions, United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, and 1 dime complete the design. Now, how many were made? The Philadelphia Mint produced over 1.4 billion dimes in 1996, making this a very common coin in circulation. Since it's not a low mintage issue, it generally holds face value, unless you find one in exceptional condition or with an error. In circulated condition, the 1996p dime is typically worth just 10 cents. However, if you have one in uncirculated condition, its value can increase. Here's a breakdown of what collectors might pay. Circulated, $0, 10 cents. $0, 25 cents, 10 cents, $0, 10 cents, 25 cents. Uncirculated, MS, 65, $1, $3. High grade, MS-67 Plus, $20, $50 or more. A certified MS-68 example can sell for over $100, but those are extremely rare. Keep an eye out for errors. Some known 1996p Roosevelt dime errors include off-center strikes. Values range from $5 to $50 depending on severity. Clipped planche, worth around $10 to $30. Missing clad layer. These can sell for over $100. ATA misdoubled die varieties. Some minor doubling can be seen on lettering, though rare. So is the 1996p Roosevelt dime valuable? Most are only worth face value, but if you find one in high mint state condition or with an error, you could have a nice little treasure. Always check your pocket change because you never know what you might find. Thanks for watching. 148 Lincoln Wheat Penny is a fascinating piece of American numismatic history that remains popular among collectors. Although not the rarest of the Lincoln cents, its historical significance, potential errors, and condition variations contribute to its overall value. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, designed by Victor David Brenner. This marked a significant shift in U.S. coinage, as it was the first coin to feature a real historical figure rather than an allegorical representation of liberty. The wheat ears on the reverse symbolize national prosperity and were a staple of the design until 1958, when the Lincoln Memorial replaced them. By 1948, the U.S. Mint was still producing these coins in massive quantities to support the growing economy following World War II. The 1948 Lincoln Wheat Penny was minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark, produced over 217 million coins. The Denver Mint, marked by a D, struck over 172 million coins, while the San Francisco Mint, denoted by an S, produced over 81 million coins. The total mintage exceeded 470 million, making this coin relatively common. However, the condition of the coin plays a crucial role in its value. A circulated 1948 Lincoln Wheat Penny typically holds a modest value. In lower grades such as good, G4, the coin is worth around 3 to 5 cents. In very good, VG8, the value increases to 5 to 10 cents. A fine 5th 12 graded coin can fetch 10 to 15 cents, while a very fine 5th to 25 cents can be worth 15 to 25 cents. The real value begins to increase with higher grades. An extremely fine FE40 example can sell for $0, 50 cents to $1, while an about uncirculated AU50 penny can command $1 to $3. Coins in mint state, mint 60 to MS64 higher, considered graded MS65 or higher, considered gem uncirculated, can be worth $50 to $100 or more. Some of the most valuable 1948 Lincoln Wheat Pennies contain minting errors. A double die obverse DDO variety, where the date Liberty or In God We Trust appears doubled, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the severity of the doubling and coin condition. Off-center strikes, where the coin's design is misaligned but the full date is visible, can range from $50 to $500. Repunched mint marks, RPM, particularly with Denver and San Francisco issues, where the mint mark was struck more than once, can also increase the value of the coin to between $10 and $100. Additionally, coins with die cracks or cuds, raised blobs or lines due to die damage, can be worth $50 or more. If you have a 1948 Lincoln Wheat Penny and want to determine its value, start by examining the mint mark to identify its origin. Use a magnifying glass or microscope to check for doubling, repunched mint marks, or die cracks. Compare its condition to online grading guides, or consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Additionally, weighing the coin can provide insight into potential errors, as a standard wheat penny should weigh 3.11 grams. If the weight significantly deviates, it could have been struck on an incorrect planche, which could increase its value considerably. While the 1948 Wheat Penny is not one of the rarest Lincoln cents, it remains a sought-after piece among collectors, especially in high grades or with errors. For those looking to invest, acquiring specimens graded MS65 or better with strong red luster is a promising choice. Error coins can also prove to be valuable finds. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or a casual collector, this coin is a great addition to any collection. Next up, the 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of the most well-known and widely collected coins in American numismatics. It was struck during World War II, when the U.S. economy was booming, and pennies were a crucial part of everyday transactions. Despite being common, this coin holds historical significance and can have some value, depending on its condition, mint mark, and potential errors. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure instead of an allegorical representation. The reverse of the coin features two wheat stalks symbolizing national prosperity, a design that remained in use until 1958, when it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial. The 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny was minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark, produced over 1.4 billion coins. The Denver Mint, marked by a D, struck around 430 million coins, while the San Francisco Mint, denoted by an S, produced over 282 million coins. The total mintage exceeded 2 billion, making the 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny one of the most abundant coins of its era. In poor or heavily circulated condition, a 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny is typically worth only its face value of 1 cent. In slightly better grades such as good, good for, or very good, VG8, the coin may be worth around 3 to 5 cents. A fine 55 graded penny can fetch 5 to 10 cents, while a very fine 55 example is valued at approximately 10 to 20 cents. In higher grades, an extremely fine EF40 coin can sell for around $0.50, and an about uncirculated AW50 penny may be worth $1 to $3. Uncirculated examples in mint state, MS60 to MS64, range from $3 to $10, while those in MS65 or higher, with original red luster, can be worth $50 to $100 or more. The highest graded examples, with full red coloration, can fetch even higher prices at auctions. Some 1944 Lincoln Wheat Pennies contain minting errors that increase their value significantly. One of the most famous is the 1944 Steel Wheat Penny, which was mistakenly struck on leftover steel planchets from 1943. This rare error coin can be worth thousands of dollars, with some high-grade examples selling for over $100,000. Another valuable variety is the 1944 D/S over mint mark error, where a Denver D was struck over a San Francisco S. This error coin can be worth $50 to $300 depending on its condition. Additionally, coins with doubled die errors, off-center strikes, or die cracks can range in value from $10 to several $100s depending on the severity of the error and the coin's grade. If you own a 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny in bad condition, it may not be worth much individually, but it still holds historical significance as a wartime coin. Collectors often seek these coins as part of complete Lincoln cent collections, and they remain a favorite among beginners and experienced numismatists alike. Checking for rare errors and varieties can turn an otherwise common penny into a valuable find. If you have a 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny, examine its mint mark, check for errors, and assess its condition. Even in poor condition, it's a piece of history that connects us to the past. Whether you're a casual collector or an investor, Lincoln Wheat Pennies continue to be an exciting part of the numismatic world. Next up, the 1950 Wheat Penny, like the other pennies minted from 1909 to 1958, was designed by Victor David Brenner. The obverse of the coin features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse shows 2 wheat ears surrounding the words 1 cent. Now, in terms of mintage, the 1950 penny was produced in large numbers. The majority of the 1950 pennies came from the Philadelphia Mint, but the Denver and San Francisco mints also contributed some coins to the series. While the 1950 penny isn't the rarest out there, certain variations make it more interesting than you might expect. For example, the 1950D penny minted in Denver and the 1950D penny minted in San Francisco are less common than the plain 1950 from Philadelphia. Now, when we talk about the value of the 1950 wheat penny, we have to consider its condition, mint mark, and any unique features it might have. A standard 1950 penny in average condition, what collectors would call fine, is usually worth just a few cents. However, if the coin is in excellent condition, especially in a mint or uncirculated state, the value can go up significantly. A pristine 1950 penny, for example, might be worth $10 to $20 or more, depending on its grade. On the other hand, if your coin is scratched or has noticeable damage, its value will drop accordingly. Even though the 1950 wheat penny isn't one of the rarest in terms of mintage, its historical significance still stands out. The coin was struck during a time of post-World War II economic stability in the US. The 1950 wheat penny and the penny represents a simpler time in American history, before the design changed to the Lincoln Memorial in 1959, when it would have designed a state model in 159. To spot a valuable 1950 penny, first check the mint mark. If there's no mint mark beneath the year it was made in Philadelphia, which is the most common type, if there's a D or an S, that means you have a rarer version from Denver or San Francisco. After that, inspect the condition of the coin. A scratch-free coin will always hold more value than one with obvious wear and tear. So if you're planning on selling or trading your 1950 penny, make sure you've got a good look at the details and consider getting it evaluated by a professional. Next up, the design of the 1945D wheat penny. Just like the rest of the wheat pennies, the obverse of this coin features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse side of the coin features 2 stalks of wheat surrounding the words, 1 cent. This iconic design was used on all wheat pennies from 1909 to 1958, making it one of the most recognizable coins in American history. Now, let's zoom in on the 1945D variant. This particular coin was minted in Denver, as indicated by the mint mark just beneath the date. The mint mark signifies that this penny was struck at the Denver Mint, who had a significant role in producing coins during World War II, especially with the increasing need for copper and other metals. In terms of rarity, the 1945D wheat penny is not considered rare overall. In fact, millions of these coins were produced, with around 282 million being minted. However, like many coins, the condition plays a major role in determining its value. A 1945D penny in good or fine condition is worth only a few cents, but when you find one in uncirculated or mint condition, it can be worth much more, sometimes upwards of $5 or even more depending on its grade. The most valuable 1945D wheat pennies are those in near-perfect or high-grade condition. Coins that are graded MS65 or higher can fetch anywhere from $10 to $25 depending on the coin's exact quality and how well it has been preserved. However, finding a 1945D penny in this pristine condition can be difficult, so those coins are much more desirable among collectors. Another key factor to consider when determining the value of the 1945D wheat penny is whether the coin has been cleaned or damaged. Cleaning a coin can significantly lower its value, so always be cautious when handling rare or valuable coins. The value drops when a coin is scratched, corroded, or polished, as collectors prefer coins with original patinas. As for the historical significance of the 1945D wheat penny, it's a fascinating piece from the tail end of the Great Depression and the war years. During World War II, copper was in high demand for military use, which meant that the US Mint had to ration its resources. In fact, copper was in short supply, so the government began using other metals for coin production, including zinc and steel. But the 1945D penny was still produced with copper, which makes it part of the final wave of copper-based wheat pennies. Additionally, the 1945D wheat penny is notable because it marks the end of the period when the US Mint produced pennies featuring the wheat design. In 1959, the design was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial penny, which has become the most commonly seen penny design today. So, the 1945D wheat penny carries a bit of extra historical weight. It's part of a series that ended just a few years later. If you're trying to spot a valuable 1945D penny in your collection, here's what to look for. Check for a clear, well-defined mint mark under the date, which should be a small d for Denver. Then, examine the coin for its overall condition. A well-worn coin may have little value beyond face value, but a coin with crisp details, free from scratches or discoloration, will definitely be worth more. To wrap up, while the 1945D wheat penny isn't the rarest coin in the series, it's definitely an important piece of American numismatic history. Whether you're a beginner or an advanced collector, it's a coin that can hold some value, especially if you can find one in good condition. It's a great reminder of the resilience and recovery that followed the end of World War II. The 1952D wheat penny was minted as part of the famous wheat penny series, which ran from 1909 to 1958. As many of you know, the coin features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse, we see the iconic wheat ears, symbolizing the country's agricultural roots, and the words 1 cent. These pennies are highly recognizable, and the 1952D is no exception. Now, let's talk about the 1952D variant specifically. The mint mark D, located just below the date, indicates that this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. The Denver Mint was responsible for a significant portion of coin production, especially during the 1950s, when the US was experiencing economic growth following the end of World War II. The 1952D penny is not considered rare, as the Denver Mint produced over 122 million of them that year. However, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value, so let's explore that next. In terms of its general value, a 1952D wheat penny in average circulated condition is worth just a few cents, likely around 5 to 10 cents. These pennies were produced in large quantities, which means they are not considered scarce. However, the coin's condition is the key factor that can increase its worth. If you happen to come across a 1952D penny in uncirculated or mint condition, it could be worth considerably more, sometimes upwards of $1 or more, depending on its grade. To give you an idea, a 1952D wheat penny in MS65 or better, a high grade for coins with minimal wear and excellent surface quality, can fetch around $10 or more, sometimes even higher depending on market conditions. Of course, the price varies depending on the specific coin's appearance, such as the amount of luster remaining and how well defined the features are. Another factor to consider is whether your coin has been cleaned or damaged. If a $1952 penny has been harshly cleaned or has visible scratches, its value can drop significantly. Collectors typically avoid coins that have been altered, so always handle your pennies with care and keep them in good condition to maintain their value. In terms of historical significance, the 1952D wheat penny is a product of the post-war period in the United States. After World War II ended, the US economy was booming and the country was transitioning back to a time of peace and prosperity. The 1950s were a time of economic growth, and the US Mint continued to produce coins in large numbers to meet the demands of the growing economy. By the time the 1952D penny was minted, the wheat design had been in use for over 4 decades, but it was nearing the end of its run. Just a few years after the 1952D penny was struck, the US Mint would change the design of the penny to feature the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, beginning in 1959, and this marks the 1952D wheat penny as part of the final years of the wheat series, which adds a bit of historical weight to it. It's also worth noting that the 1952D wheat penny was produced in the context of the continued use of copper in US coinage. While copper was in high demand during and after the war, the US Mint still relied on it to produce pennies, meaning these coins were a reflection of the country's ability to maintain its metal resources and produce currency even during times of economic strain. If you're looking to determine whether your 1952D penny might be worth more, check the mint mark just below the date. If you see a small D under the 1952, that tells you it was minted in Denver. From there, inspect the coin carefully. If it's in fine or very fine condition, it will likely hold a little more value than a well-worn coin. However, the real value will come from coins in uncirculated condition, where you'll see the sharpest details and the most luster. To spot an uncirculated 1952D penny, you'll want to look for coins with smooth, sharp edges and clearly defined features. The surface should still have its original shine, free from wear and scratches. If you find one like that, you've likely got a coin worth more than just face value. To wrap up, while the 1952D wheat penny isn't one of the rarest coins out there, it still holds value for collectors, especially in higher grades or uncirculated condition. As part of the final years of the wheat series, it's an important piece of American numismatic history, representing the tail end of an era that lasted nearly 50 years. If you find one in your pocket change, it's definitely worth checking out to see if it has any special qualities or is in good enough shape to add to your collection. Next up, the 1944 wheat penny was part of the wheat series that was minted from 1909 to 1958. The coin was designed by Victor David Brenner, and it features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with the reverse displaying 2 stalks of wheat, symbolizing America's agricultural roots. But what makes the 1944 penny so special? To understand why the 1944 wheat penny stands out, we need to consider the time period it was minted. 1944 was right in the middle of World War II, a time when the United States was facing significant economic and material shortages. The war effort was in full swing, and copper, the metal traditionally used for pennies, was in high demand for military purposes, particularly for ammunition. As a result, the US Mint had to get creative with its production of coins, leading to a unique twist in the composition of the 1944 wheat penny. In 1944, to conserve copper, the US Mint struck some pennies using steel, specifically leftover steel from wartime materials. These steel pennies, which were known as steelies, were produced in small numbers and are now one of the most famous and sought-over variations of the wheat penny series. However, not all 1944 pennies were made from steel. Most of the 1944 pennies were struck from copper, and these are the ones that are commonly found today. The 1944 copper pennies are still highly collectible though, especially in better condition. So, what's the value of a 1944 wheat penny in fine condition? Well, it's important to remember that coins in fine condition show signs of wear but still maintain clear details. For the 1944 wheat penny, a coin in fine condition is typically worth between 15 to 30 cents, depending on its specific quality and any other factors like cleaning or damage. While this may not seem like a lot, the value can rise significantly depending on the overall quality and grading of the coin. If your 1944 wheat penny is in better condition, like very fine or extremely fine condition, it could be worth anywhere from $1 to $3, or even higher for coins that have been well preserved. On the other hand, if your 1944 penny has been heavily worn or damaged, the value will be closer to the lower end of the spectrum, or even just face value. One of the most important factors in determining the value of a 1944 wheat penny is whether it has a mint mark. You'll find the mint mark right below the year on the reverse of the coin. If the penny has no mint mark, it was minted in Philadelphia. If it has a D mint mark, it was minted in Denver. And if it has an S mint mark, it was minted in San Francisco. The mint mark can have a big impact on the coin's value, with the 1944 S being the rarer variety of the three. For example, a 1944 S penny in excellent condition could be worth more than a 1944 P, or it's also worth noting that a 1944 wheat penny in uncirculated or mint condition, which is even harder to come by, can be worth significantly more, sometimes reaching $10 or more depending on the specific coin. Coins with higher grades, such as MS65 or higher, can fetch even more, particularly for the rarer mint mark variants. The historical context of the 1944 wheat penny is one of the most interesting aspects of the coin. As mentioned earlier, the US Mint faced serious challenges during World War II, and the need for copper in wartime materials led to the experimentation with steel pennies. The 1944 copper penny, however, was a return to normal minting practices after the government decided to revert to using copper for pennies again. This year is significant because it marked a transition period during wartime, where the US Mint's efforts were focused on supporting the military while also maintaining a supply of everyday currency. Next up, the 1934 wheat penny is part of the famous wheat penny series, which ran from 1909 to 1958. The wheat penny, designed by Victor David Brenner, features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, while the reverse displays 2 ears of wheat surrounding the words 1 cent. This coin was struck during a fascinating time in American history, and it reflects both the challenges and changes of the era. Now, let's talk about the 1934 wheat penny specifically. In 1934, the United States was still feeling the effects of the Great Depression, which began in 1929 and lasted for much of the 1930s. The economy was recovering slowly, and the country was navigating through difficult financial times. The 1934 wheat penny was struck as part of the ongoing production of this iconic series, with a significant number of these pennies minted in Philadelphia, but also in smaller quantities in Denver and San Francisco. The total mintage of the 1934 penny was over 139 million, with the Philadelphia Mint contributing the majority of the production. The Denver Mint produced just under 20 million, and the San Francisco Mint produced a little over 10 million. These numbers indicate that the 1934 penny isn't extremely rare in terms of overall mintage. However, the condition of the coin is what truly drives its value, particularly when you're talking about excellent or higher grade coins. When it comes to the value of a 1934 wheat penny in excellent condition, meaning the coin has clear details, minimal wear, and strong features, It typically ranges from $2 to $5, depending on the exact quality and market conditions. A coin in excellent condition will have very sharp details, particularly around the wheat ears and the date, with only a slight amount of wear on the high points of the design. Now, if the coin is in extremely fine or uncirculated condition, the value can increase significantly. A 1,934 wheat penny in extremely fine condition might be worth anywhere from $5 to $10, while an uncirculated coin could fetch $10 or more, especially if it's graded MS65 or higher. The price can even go higher for coins in near-perfect condition, with minimal imperfections, and the value might vary based on market trends and demand. The mint mark is another important factor to consider when determining the value of your 1,934 penny. Just like with other wheat pennies, you'll find the mint mark just below the date on the reverse side of the coin. If your 1,934 penny has no mint mark, it was minted in Philadelphia. If it has a D mint mark, it was struck at the Denver Mint, and if it has an S mint mark, it was made in San Francisco. Or the 1,934 S pennies is considered rarer than the other variants, and in higher grades it could be worth more than the 1,934 pennies or 1,934 S wheat penny. For example, a 1,934 penny in excellent condition could fetch between $10 to $15 or even more, depending on the grading. Historical significance also plays a role in the value of the 1,934 penny. As mentioned earlier, 1,934 was a year of recovery from the Great Depression. The US Mint continued to produce pennies in large numbers, even as the country was grappling with economic challenges. The wheat design, which had been in place since 1909, was still in circulation, but it was gradually nearing the end of its run. In 1959, the Lincoln Memorial design would replace the wheat ears on the reverse of the penny, making the 1,934 wheat penny a relic of an important time in US history. Another key historical factor that might contribute to the appeal of the 1,934 penny is that the US Mint was still using copper during this time. The coins from this era were made with 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving them their distinctive reddish-brown color. The use of copper would continue until 1982, when the penny's composition was changed to mostly zinc, with a thin copper plating. Because of this, the 1,934 wheat penny represents the last of the purely copper-based pennies, adding to its collectability. If you're trying to evaluate a 1,934 wheat penny in your collection, here are some tips to help you assess its condition. First, check the mint mark location, just below the year. Then, inspect the coin for wear, especially around Lincoln's portrait and the wheat stalks. Coins in excellent condition will have a lot of detail remaining in these areas, while coins with heavy wear may show smoothing or loss of design elements. Next up, the 1,937 wheat penny is part of the legendary Lincoln Wheat Cent series, designed by Victor D. Brenner. This coin features President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and two wheat stalks on the reverse, symbolizing prosperity and unity. The wheat penny series ran from 1909 to 1958, making it one of the most collected coin series in US history. In 1937, these pennies were struck at 3 US Mint locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; and San Francisco, S mint mark. Here's a breakdown of how many 1,937 pennies were produced at each mint. Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, 309170000 coins. Denver Mint, dub mark, 504300000 coins. San Francisco Mint, 005000000 coins. While these numbers seem high, finding these coins in high grades today is much rarer due to circulation wear and damage over the decades. The condition of a 1,937 wheat penny significantly affects its value. The worth of a 1,937 wheat penny depends on its condition and mint mark. Here's a general estimate. Circulated condition, around 0.10 cents to $2. Uncirculated condition, mint state, between $5 and $25 plus. Proof and rare varieties can go for hundreds of dollars in top condition. Higher graded coins, such as MS65 or better, can fetch $50 or more, especially for the Denver and San Francisco issues. Collectors often look for error coins, which can increase a coin's value significantly. Some error coins from 1,937 can be worth a lot more, Here are a few key ones to watch for. Double die obverse, DDO. Some 1,937 pennies have doubling on the date or lettering. These can be worth $50 to $200 plus. Off-center strikes. If the design is off-center, values can range from $20 to $150 plus, depending on the percentage of the error. BI error. A small die crack between the B and E in Liberty. These are collectible and can be worth $5 to $50 depending on severity. Additionally, toning and luster can play a role in desirability. A penny with a rich original red color will often be worth more than one that has darkened over time. So, is the 1,937 wheat penny valuable? While common in lower grades, rare varieties and high-grade examples can bring in serious cash. Rare. Always check your coins carefully for mint marks, errors, and condition. Understanding the grading scale can help you better assess the true worth of your coin. Grading goes from poor to mint state, MS 70, with MS 65 and higher being the most desirable for collectors.